some point, I'll try to upload it in module. So if you're not sure, that you can just go in and replay part of the whole video. Okay. At least you can hear my voice. I'm not videotaping my face. So if I repeat, middle C approach, that's limited to the middle C octave. And the multi-key approach, that's based on 5-finger pattern, right? But you want to start with the easiest the 5-finger pattern, which is the C position. Or you may start in the G position, but that's the maximum, I think. And then what? Do, re, mi, fa, sol. Remember the triad. An intervallic approach that can be all over the keys. But just you want to show the concept of the intervals.
Okay.
2 notes. So I can give you any of those 3 intervallic reading approaches for your 4-measure melody. But as long as you remember and understand those key concepts for each reading approach, then you should be able to compose simple 4-measure melody. Especially that middle C approach that needs a grand step. The intervallic approach doesn't need grand step, but you could use grand step. And the 5-finger pattern usually starts in the grand step. Do you remember where are those quotes by the pedagogues are contained out of those slides? There are multiple slides that we went over. The PPT 0, 1, 2, right? Go by number and so go over the number 1 piano pedagogy. It has some question what piano pedagogy is and so on. But later, each slide shows some long quotes. A long quote by a piano pedagogue, right? So there's a quote by Tobias Mate, by Theodore Leschetizky, Rosina Levin, and Leon Fleischer. When you open up this PPT, number 1, then you will see all the quotes. And you read through the quotes and try to understand the message of the quote, right? And on the test, just those are part of the multiple choice. And 3.2, preschoolers. If you read through the 3.2 PowerPoint, there are some advantages to teach the preschool age students. Usually the ages, between ages 4, 5, they're in high curiosity. They like to repeat, and so on. And then you can think of the benefits of teaching preschoolers. from scheduling perspective to your financial perspective or piano teaching perspective. There's some benefits you can think of. So that the 3.2, the preschooler. And also, we talked about the learning principles and teaching approaches. There were 2 learning principles. Do you remember that? Those? Do you remember the terms formation from within, formation from without? And please know the associated names. The names that are associated with each approach. That's specifically for, on number 4, right? PPT number 4. Some multiple choice questions have more than one answer. The question has more than one answer out of A, B, C, D. If you choose all of them correctly, then you get full points. Like in each question has two points. But if you get only 1 out of 2, then you will get just 1 point. Okay? Of course, if you get wrong, then you get no points. Do you know what the rote teaching is? What is rote teaching?
It's like teaching without reading music. It's just like listening and
Right.
imitating.
Right? Rote teaching is basically by repetition. You do this and the student copies. Do this, student copies, right? So if you play, for example, you're going to tell a student to place the thumb on the middle C, and your 5th finger goes on G. Okay? So first you give that basic guide, then you play. Students will play, taking it by ear. Right? That's rote teaching. There's good melody in 4 measures. So study the benefits of the rote teaching. If I ask you now, what is the main purpose of teaching by rote? Ear training, right? And there are some benefits and there are some disadvantages too. Yeah. Not all the approaches are perfect. No? If you can think of some benefits, then also you should be able to think about the disadvantages. If you flip the side, if you flip the coin, it's exactly the same points. If you see from this side from this side, it could be positive. If you see from this side, it could be negative. Right? It's like there's half water in a cup. And some people want to say, oh, we still have that half cup of water. And some other people can see it. We only have half cup of water. It's just a matter of your perspective in many cases, right? Yeah. So the same thing like rote teaching can train students' oral skills, but at the same time, if you see the same thing from different perspective, then think about what could be the disadvantages. For example, if you learn with a score, pointing out every note, every rhythm on the score, then you can teach accurately. You can teach a song accurately, right? But it's only focusing on the reading. But if you're teaching by rote, or if you're teaching by letting them pick up the sound by ear, it can't be 100% accurate. But you can still train the oral skills. Do you see the advantages and disadvantages? It's lacking. It may be lacking accuracy, but it's training oral skill. Or with score, it may be good for accuracy, but it's not training oral skill that much. Like that, right? So if you read through this slide, what's number? Yeah, 6.1, 6-1 oral development. Then it talks about the rote teaching. If you read through those, then you will know about this. And then if you read, if you study technical development, that's slide number 10. I took whole session to talk about the technique. Do you remember that? And I explained the posture and the piano being the instrument of lever, and your arm, your hand becoming another lever, right? So I'll read through that slide number 10. Technique. There are some terms like whole arm motion, right? Whole arm motion. Instead of just focusing on fingers, you're using the whole arm as a lever, so it's called the whole arm motion. And there are 3 represented the techniques that transfer the weight, right? So this is called the bounce, because you're literally bouncing on the keys, right? Instead of just pounding, right? This is very heavy and very ineffective way, because you're putting arm labor. But if you let it bounce, so you get the same sound, but in an easy and efficient way of motion. Think about the drum roll. The percussionist, right? Drop the stick to the surface of the drum, and it rolls, right? Like that. But they don't do that, right? So if they do that, then the drum surface will break, right? But if you just release your stick onto the drum, then it'll roll by itself. It's kind of similar technique, bounce technique. And on the piano, you want to do, right? And now when you do rotation, it's called rotation. But this is more, if you rotate your hand this way, it looks like a circular rotation. Circle, right? It's called a circular rotation. But if you do, what does it look like? If you do tremolo, what does it look like? This is circular, but this one.
It's just like a rocking motion.
Rocking rotation, right? Or axis rotation. We said axis, right? Yeah. So they're all, those terms are all in this PowerPoint number 10. And I talked about those two things happening in the lesson, like incremental preparation, systematic presentation. You have to know what they are. Do you take time before performing, like on the stage especially, or do you just go to jump into the keyboard or your instrument?
Usually take a little bit of time.
Why do you do that?
To like center myself and to focus myself.
Yeah, and to go through some part of music, right? At least the opening. They give you the sense of the rhythm, tempo, or what kind of tone you're gonna make, right? Or as some teachers say, have deep breath. That's the moment of your taking time. Right? Do you know what it's called? The moment of taking time, or that kind of activity of taking time before we start the first note. I think that's somewhere. I don't know where that is exactly in. Is that in musicianship? The slide number 11. Yeah, so basically, in the past 2 weeks or 2 or 3 weeks, we went over those 5 areas, right? Oral skill, and it talks about rote teaching and some other oral and having oral images and all stuff, right? So, in your on your list of those PPTs, oral development is at 6-1, and the rhythm is 7, and 3 representative reading approaches number 8, and technical development number 10, and the musicianship number 11, right? Up to that, number 12-1, and then the rest of the PowerPoints there are for the second half of the semester. So the PowerPoints up to number 11, right? Some of them you don't have to really even look at it. For example, the Music 304 assignments number 0 is only the very first page. PowerPoint, which is going over the syllabus, and that, but no. The number 1 piano pedagogy. Oh, what are the 3 aspects to be an effective teacher? I emphasized that several times.
Why, what, and how to teach.
Yeah, right? Yeah, why to teach, what to teach, how to teach, to be an effective teaching, right? To give an effective teaching. What are the 2 reading? What are 2 learning principles? I mentioned like minutes ago.
For information from within and without.
Yeah, and you have to know the names associated with that, right? And then what are the two main things you want to focus on during the lesson? Like, you want to introduce the concept in gradual way. What is the term for that?
Incremental presentation.
Yeah, and then what is the term for presenting or teaching how to practice?
Systematic preparation.
Just make presentation.
Presentation.
Yeah, don't get confused with preparation and presentation,
Yes.
right?
Okay.
If you think about it, and you're presenting a concept in incremental way. So that definitely should have the word presentation,
Yeah.
right?
That's true.
Presentation, right? Or preparation, because you're preparing, right? Or presentation, you're presenting the way to practice, right? So it's confusing, but those two words are similar, but don't get confused, don't get mixed up with that, right? So up to slide number 11, from number 1 to 11, right? Go through. I'm videotaping it, so I'm gonna upload it.
Oh, awesome! Thank you so much.
Reading in group lessons is one of the effective ways to teach sight reading. What do you think?
What is one of the most effective?
Reading in group lessons, not private lessons, is one of the effective ways to teach sight reading. Do you agree? No.
I mean, I think it could be beneficial, but I don't know if I'd say it's the most effective way.
Well, I didn't say most effective way. Yeah. Yeah, like I said, there are 9 true false. I see a lot of students lose points at the true false statement here, right? Because this is the part that's more very detailed. Even though you read those multiple PPTs from number 1 to number 11, you may not remember every line, everything, right? But some of the true false questions, you think over it, and then you should go for the way it makes sense. It's not something to memorize. It's something that if you understand the concept, if you understand the principle in the bottom line, then some of them you can answer correctly. Can you find the cause of tension by observing only the finger movement? How can you find the cause of tension?
You have to look at their posture.
Everywhere, right? Posture, arm, right? Like that, yeah. If you just see those, like My old teacher said once, when you diagnose during teaching, don't just see what's happening. If student gets wrong in some passages, you're just pointing out, oh, that note is wrong, or that rhythm is wrong. It's not really teaching. Because anybody can do that, right? If it's wrong, then you have to think. You have to diagnose with the deep thinking, right? Why the student is making that wrong? Student not understanding the passage, or student is lacking the reading skills, or student is not hearing, or simply the student didn't practice, right? Yeah. So from the same point of view, if you want to diagnose the incorrect technique or cause of tension, right? Student has tremendous tension while playing, then you can't really get good diagnosis by looking at just one part. You have to see the whole part, like that. So I said 3 ways of becoming an effective teacher. What did I say? Why to teach? What to teach, how to teach, right? Yeah. And the test, I'm not giving you exact same wording, right? But if you think about what it is about, then usually you get the right answer. For example, what is the teaching methodology?
Like a method book?
No, I mean, out of those 3 ways of effective teaching, why to teach, what to teach, how to teach, which one's teaching methodology?
How?
Yeah, right, like that. So I'm not using exact wording. There are 4 kinds of staccato techniques. Like, do you remember one time I said that this is long lever, right? And when you have imaginative fulcrum, you can put fulcrum right under here. You can put fulcrum right here or here, depending on that your motion gets bigger and the sound gets bigger, right? If the fulcrum is over here, then when you try to play staccato, you can do that, right? If the fulcrum is here, right? The fulcrum is here, then the motion gets bigger and the sound gets bigger. There are 4 different levels of staccatos. They are on there in the technique PPT. The ideal teamwork for to make effective teaching happening, effective learning happening, and the ideal teamwork. Think about it. For systems of counting, do you know what diet is? What is diet? The term diet. Have you heard the term diet? You know what the triad is,
Oh,
right?
two, like an interval or something?
Dyad is a harmony made of two notes, right? What is based on triad out of three reading approaches?
Intervallic.
No, the triad.
That would be multi-key approach.
Yeah. How about dyad?
The intervallic.
Yeah. That's right. Once you know the term dyad, triad. When you teach improvisation, can you share some ideas on improvisation?
We talked about like the last lesson or a couple classes ago, like playing the accompaniment while the student improvises,
Yeah.
like a certain number of keys.
Yeah, like so you gave some chord progression, right? Right? 1 4 5 or 1 2 5, whatever. Or you think of a pattern, right? You can repeat the pattern. Yeah. Or you can pick a motive or leak out of any melody, right? Out of this, I just repeated the same motive 4 times, but changed the harmonies, right? Sometimes you can flip it, right? So think of any way of teaching improv. Any idea? Or as a way of teaching improv, you can have them play just simple chord progression. The scale, a lot of people start teaching or learning improvisation from scales. what art activities that you can do during lesson to enhance the musicianship? There are many activities you can do to develop the musicianship or functional skills. Functional skills are part of the musicianship, right?
Yeah. You can give them like 5 notes from a scale, like the C position, C to G, and let them play in that, like those notes while you play the accompaniment.
That's improv,
Yeah.
right? What else? Classical musicians usually are lacking those functional skills because we're so much focusing on the score reading and the practicing with scores.
You could work on some like the ear training with the like having them copy what you play and like see if they can.
That's rote teaching. And like harmonization, right? Basically, with beginning level, you can start out with the 1 2 5 or 1 2 or 1 4 5. Full chord, or it could be or sometimes you can there are many different ways of reharmonizing, or using secondary dominant, or using in place of 1 chord you can use 3 or can use 6, right? Anyway, so harmonization and transposition. First you teach 5-finger pattern on C, right? Student knows that become very comfortable with the 5-finger pattern. Da 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 da, do re mi fa sol, right? And then you let them choose a key other than C. Place the same finger on that different key and have them figure out the major 5-finger pattern. Or one of the cool ways of doing the ear training, that's literally this jazz book is literally you pick up a simple hymn melody or the melody, your favorite melody, and try to play it in every key. Have you done that before? Yeah. Like if you try to do like for example the song, the hard stuff in the string violin, like a Paganini etude. If someone asks you to transpose Paganini etude, then you will think it's crazy. But you can do the simple melody of it at least in a different key, right? That's a great way of oral training. Like transposition, right? Improv is a great way of picking up the melody in your head, right? And harmonization is a great way of oral training. All of these are good training ways to make you functional, right? Yeah, so basically just read through and study the number 1 through 11 of your PPT, right? And yeah, it's being recorded. So I'm gonna upload this in your Canvas, right? What's today? What's this week? Is week 6?
I think
Right.
so. Yes.
Week 6. So I'm gonna upload it in week 6 module, okay? And then okay. And yeah, before coming, we talked about composing four measure simple melody that represents one of the three reading approaches, either middle C or intervallic or multi-key approach. If you understand the key concept of each approach, then you can just represent it in your four measure simple melody. That, yeah. But I can't tell which one you're gonna write melody on though. It's gonna be one of the three. And your test, you can take the test next week at the testing center, okay? And but we're not gonna meet on Tuesday. The Tuesday is originally for the exam time. But instead of coming to Tuesday, your class, I'm gonna give you the due date to take your midterm exam. The whole week, maybe until next week, like the end of next week. Okay, I'm gonna put those tests in at the testing center next Monday. Okay, and then you have whole week to take anytime you feel ready. Okay. Any questions?
Are there any questions that are like based on the reading?
Based? What do you mean? Based on the reading?
The book that we got? Or is it mostly just the PowerPoints?
Mostly PowerPoints. Yeah, mostly PowerPoints.
Is it a physical test or is it on Canvas? Because I saw there was a midterm test on Canvas.
That I just put the points there, but it's not online test. It's physical test with paper. So that's why you're taking it at testing center. Yeah.
Sorry if I already asked this, but is there a specific time we have to take it at the testing center, or just any time during the week?
Anytime during the week.
Okay.
Yeah, but before due date. Right. And you'll be given like a class hour period. It's like about 1.5 hours, correct? Yeah. Well, actually it says if you read chapter 1, that's about successful piano teacher, chapter 1 of your textbook. Most of them are from the PowerPoints. Also, those same contents are found in some chapters, like chapter 8, 4 kinds of staccato techniques. They're in your PowerPoints, but also when you read chapter 8 of your textbook, you can also find out those staccato techniques. For chapter 5 is about a unique way of reading approach. It's opening up with some special staff, and finally it's arriving at the grand staff at the end of chapter 5. But it's not for every chapter that you have to read as reading assignment up to now. But I think it's mostly chapter 1, chapter 5, chapter 8, but the same contents are in the PowerPoints too. But if you read those chapters, then you will understand, of course, more, right? Because you're understanding context, not just by bullet point. Yeah. So chapter 1, chapter 5, chapter 8, and up to PowerPoint number 11. Yeah. And that's in the video too. Okay. Any other questions?
So the midterm exam, it doesn't have a due date. I'm assuming. Is the due date next Tuesday?
No. Like I said, I will let you take the test by the end of next week.